So hi everyone, we're here with VSuccess. I'm Mario Michas. Maia.
Hi everyone, my name is Maia Fukuyama.
We're here with Koralie Jutras, who's a student in special care counseling and also a member of the Christian Vanier Fellowship. Koralie, do you want to present yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Koralie. I am a recent graduate in special care counseling at Vanier College with a major also in Indigenous Studies. And as was mentioned beforehand, I was involved in the Vanier Christian Fellowship during my studies. Some of my interests are also music, gardening, and social justice.
Thank you for that.
And what would you say are your most memorable moments at Vanier College?
Definitely, the Christian Fellowship was a huge part of the memorable moments because it allowed me to make friends who are also of the same faith background and to just stay grounded spiritually during my college years. So that was definitely a highlight. Another memorable moment was really all the time I spent with my classmates in special care counseling. So just during work breaks, we would go and hang out in the lounge, or we would go on field trips sometimes. So just all those relationships that I was able to build in college were definitely memorable.
So you're a recent graduate of the special care counseling program. Could you tell us a bit about where that interest comes from?
Sure. Well, I guess I've always wanted to work with people. I've met a lot of people who have adopted children with disabilities, and they were kind of inspirations and models for me. And I thought, wow, I would also like to maybe work with children who have disabilities. And also just, I guess, because of my faith, I believe that everybody is created by God, everybody is loved by God, and really everybody should get an equal chance in life. So that was also one of the reasons that I wanted to go into the field of social services.
Yes, I think social services are very important for people, and it's really great that you're involved in helping others.
So you also completed a major in Indigenous Studies. So would you be able to elaborate and explain what the major is exactly and how it helps for a student to build a more holistic worldview?
Yeah, the major is basically doing a few courses that are related to Indigenous worldview, way of life, and really it's a curriculum that's built in collaboration with Indigenous people, with Indigenous speakers. So the emphasis is really on hearing Indigenous voices. I think that's very important because often our history classes, the news is by non-Indigenous voices, and we don't get to hear their version of the story. Like, it's important to remember that Canada is like, our past is built on colonialism, and there is still an ongoing colonialism in Canada. And so I guess just to be aware of that is a very good step towards reconciliation with Indigenous people and to acknowledging their presence in Canada. And really, it has helped me build a more holistic worldview because it's a different way of seeing things. There's something in the Indigenous studies called two-eyed seeing, which basically is viewing the world with two eyes. So one eye is like the Western way of seeing, scientific, and the other eye is the Indigenous way of seeing, which really acknowledges relationships with nature. And to be able to see the world with those two eyes at the same time is very, very beneficial.
Thank you for that. I think that you highlighted something that's very important. Often history courses are taught from one perspective, and it's really important to remember the history of Canada. And as you said, remember the colonial past in order to move forward and help to rebuild bridges.
Yeah.
So as a recent graduate of a technical deck, do you have any suggestions or recommendations for other Vanier students to find jobs and find opportunities after they graduate from Vanier?
I think if you can get working in your field as soon as you can, that's a very good thing. So during my studies in special care counseling, of course, I couldn't work as a special care counselor because I didn't have the diploma, but I did work in a youth center, which really helped me build relevant experience. It makes it easier to find a job after that in your field. So that's one thing. Another thing is to really build contacts with people So if you know people who are working in a field that interests you, like even just go talk to them, ask them about their work, and they'll know of a job opening somewhere. So that can be another way. And just persevere, because sometimes you don't get the job you want the first time. You have to get another job that you like less, but that's okay. It'll just lead you towards the job that you want.
Thank you for that. Yes, it's about sort of getting relevant experience and building up not only your CV, but also your own knowledge, building up
Yeah,
as growing as a person, because every opportunity allows
exactly.
you to grow as a person, whether it's related or unrelated to your field. So thank you for that advice.
So earlier you were talking a little bit about your hobbies and interests. Would you please elaborate more on your different hobbies and interests outside of school?
Sure. So one of my interests is really gardening, and I wasn't really involved in the Vanier gardens when I was at Vanier because there was just a lot in my schedule, but I really enjoy just working in my backyard, and I find that it's a very relaxing process to just work with plants and to kind of connect with nature. And because of my faith too, I really see it as a creation from God, so I can connect with God through my gardening process. And it's really amazing to see like little plants and how they grow and they become big. And I think you can learn a lot of lessons when you connect with nature that way. Another of my hobbies is, well, music. I have a musical background. I've been doing music for a long time, but I find that whether you've been doing music for a long time or you're just starting, music is really a wonderful way of self-expression. It's also a really great way to just relax. Of course, it's hard work, but I think it's really worth it to invest in music.
Thank you for that. I think you highlighted things that are very important, especially connecting with oneself and being able to communicate with oneself through something artistic, such as music, but also connecting with those around us, whether it be nature, other people, and being able to invest your time into something that you can see actually grow and yield a result.
So you volunteered at a seniors residence. Could you talk about what you did there, what you accomplished, and perhaps what that role entailed?
Um, it really started just visiting the seniors residence and singing there at Christmas with some of my friends. And I kind of saw how like not a lot of people really care for seniors around me, and they didn't have really many activities going on in that residence. So like I just thought, well, if I can even just visit once a week and do an activity with them, I think that they could really enjoy that. So I started doing that. At first it was just like bingo, and then I realized that a lot of the people in the residence are Catholic, and they really missed having like the faith element in the residence. They didn't like attend mass or anything. So I just started like singing songs with them, praying with them, reading from the Bible with them, and they really enjoyed that. And I continued that for 2 years until at some point it unfortunately got too much. But I can say that it was just such a wonderful experience, and I want to continue volunteering with seniors in the future, because there's also a lot you can learn from seniors, that they tell you their stories, their life experiences, and it's just such a rich knowledge to learn from. So it's just really great.
Yes, and I think young people should be more involved with seniors because it allows them to get more wisdom. It allows them to help people who have serviced society in the past, to sort of allow those that gave their service to society to rest, to know that the younger people are taking care of them.
So you mentioned a couple of times that you were part of the Christian Fellowship at Vanier. Could you please explain the purpose of the fellowship and the purpose it served for you personally, and how one could go about joining?
Well, the purpose of the Vanier Christian Fellowship is for one, to allow Christians to have a place to gather together and encourage one another in their faith. But it's also open to anybody at Vanier, really, anybody who would be interested in Christianity, in faith, in God, to just serve as a reference for people. Maybe it's intimidating for some people to walk into a church, but it's easier for people to like connect with students their age. And the Vanier Christian Fellowship does Bible studies once a week at UB, but they also do activities during the semester just to have people connect together, different outings, and they try to also be involved in the Vanier community and give back by volunteering. It was really a great experience for me because I find that often college is a place where like faith is not really discussed that much. Of course, it's like the focus is on academics. The worldview is often like scientific, humanistic. So just to have this place where we can actually talk about faith, and it was really beneficial. And so to join the Christian Fellowship, there's an Instagram page, Vanier Christian Fellowship, Facebook group, Vanier Christian Fellowship. So you could find them either on either of those platforms. And if you really don't know how to access it, you could contact probably the Vanier Student Life, and they could refer you to the Christian Fellowship then.
Thank you for your insight. And yeah, I think it's extremely important to be part of sort of a safe space where you feel as though you can connect to other people on this very common cultural and religious ground. It serves as a means of communicating past just language and conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And so we encourage all students watching to join the Christian Fellowship if they're interested. It's a great opportunity to meet new people and to explore new horizons. So as a person who's involved in many extracurricular activities, do you have any advice as to how to manage one's time?
I'm still trying to figure that one out, honestly. But I think one thing that I found surprisingly is that rest is very important. So you can't just always be going. I've tried that many times. It hasn't worked. So I've had the habit over the years of actually setting apart one day in the week to rest. It also stems from my faith, like to kind of the day of rest, but it's also a way to kind of renew your energy, to recharge your batteries, to have energy to get going the 6 other days of the week. And I know people who don't take a day of rest. For some people, it's a time in the day, every day, where they set that time apart to rest. But I would say just make sure that however busy your schedule is, set that time apart to rest, because it's just very important to maintain good mental health and to have the energy to do your work properly.
I couldn't agree more with you. Very good advice.
And do you have any parting academic, professional, or life advice that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Life, it goes by very fast, of course, as we know, and it's important to really take time to reflect on one's own life. So there's this famous saying that a life unexamined is not worth living. So I believe that to be very true. And I think it's important to think about not just like one's academics, but okay, what is my purpose in life? And I think even I encourage people to think about spirituality. Like it's often a shunned topic. So I think that would be very important advice that I could give to people.
Thank you for that.
So thank you for sharing that quote from Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living.
Yeah.
So we've come to the end of the interview. Thank you, viewers, for watching. Thank you, Koralie, for participating. Thank you, Maia, for being here. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you next time. Have a nice day.